So we know all about critical race theory and social justice by now. It's everywhere, but if you've been watching the show for 10 minutes, then you know all about it as well. So the question now is, who does this appeal to? Right? Like, we know what it is, and I hear it and I'm like, well, who likes this? So I've narrowed it down to 3 groups. You got your suckers, your narcissists, and your grifters. Let's go through each of them. A couple years ago, Pastor John MacArthur, one of my favorite pastors, he said that critical race theory and social justice is more dangerous than any other controversy that he's ever faced, and maybe the most dangerous thing that has faced the church in the last 100 years. It's a couple years ago he said that. And just a couple weeks ago, he was asked if he stands by that statement. And he said, oh yeah, no question about it. This is a big deal, critical race theory and social justice. So who's behind this? Who are the people who are moving this forward? First, you got the suckers. Noam Chomsky, he said, that's the whole point of good propaganda. You want to create a slogan that nobody's going to be against and everybody's going to be for. And nobody knows what it means because it doesn't mean anything. You want to know maybe the best slogan ever, the best propaganda slogan ever? Black Lives Matter. Who's going to be against that? What are you going to say? They don't matter, right? And that's what Noam Chomsky was talking about. I mean, he wrote that decades ago, but that's the type of thing he was talking about. It's perfect. Social justice. Who's against justice? So many people fall for the propaganda right from the jump because no one wants to be called a racist. The second group, the narcissists. Right? The appeal of critical race theory and social justice and all this madness. The appeal for the average person, this is the biggest group of people I would say, is our culture today that says, I'm not responsible for what I've become. People don't want to take responsibility. We have no personal responsibility left. And this is the next stage of that. I'm not responsible for who I've become and what I've become. You are. You, the patriarchal, cisgendered, heteronormative system. Right? It's not even a specific person, it's just these systems have built this culture that has made me what I am, which I don't like. And I'm not going to take responsibility for who I am and who I've become because nothing's my fault. So it's your fault. And someone says, well, whose fault? The systems. Right? So the solution isn't to change things. If you're one of these narcissists, your solution isn't to change things. Personally, certainly it's not to change yourself because I'm perfect and nothing's my fault. Also, you can't change things on the margins because if you still change things on the margins, the systems are still in place. So we need to burn it down to the ground. That's their approach. That way I will feel better, I will have achieved my vengeance, and you will have received what you're due. And that's real justice. The people who fall under this narcissistic group are the narcissist and mentally unwell. All right? It's the person who doesn't like their life, they've made bad choices, they're depressed, they have anxiety for any number of countless reasons, and instead of taking any personal responsibility to fix themselves and make good decisions, it's way easier to blame a nameless, faceless force or system in society for my problems, right? So, who does social justice and critical race theory appeal to? The suckers? I'm not racist. The narcissist, nothing's my fault. And then the third group are the grifters. The grifters just want money. You always follow the money. Michael Brown's dad has come out and he's joined a group of other people as well of this type who have come out against Black Lives Matter, specifically Patrisse Cullors, after she just bought her 4th property, the latest in Malibu. This group, Black Lives Matter, they have no transparency as to where their money's going, and these victims' families haven't been helped by Black Lives Matter at all. They're like Michael Brown's son has been used for fundraising efforts and for rallies and stuff, but they haven't received any money themselves for funeral expenses or anything else. So you have grifters who are running the show. The suckers, the narcissists, and the grifters. Now, there's some overlap in those last two groups between the narcissists and the grifters. There's a new book. It's called The New Science of Narcissism, Understanding One of the Greatest Psychological Challenges of Our Time. And the author talks about two types of narcissists. I want to go over those quickly here. First, you have the grandiose narcissist. These people are ambitious, driven, charming, high self-esteem, feel really good about themselves, right? These are the narcissists who you work for, you date, you're entertained by. And we are often drawn to their boldness, but then later repelled by their self-centeredness and lack of empathy. That's the grifters. The grifters fall in that group. These are the people who are out front, right? The narcissistic leaders who are rallying the mob, raising the money, grabbing the microphone, screaming into the megaphone, going on TV, right? They're the grandiose narcissists. The second group of narcissists are the vulnerable narcissists. These are people who are introverted, depressed, easily hurt by criticism, low self-esteem, and see themselves as deserving of special treatment. So you have these two groups of narcissists, and it's very simple to see, I think, right? You have the grandiose narcissists are speaking to the vulnerable narcissists, which are a very easily led group of people because they think they're the center of the universe and are deserving of special treatment. So when someone comes in, a grandiose narcissist, a grifter, who thinks they're the center of the universe and tells these people that they're the center of the universe and everything's working against you and you deserve special treatment, this is a very symbiotic relationship. And they're all easily led, right? It's a mental disorder. Booker T. Washington, he said, 1911, he said, "I'm afraid there's a certain class of race problem solvers who don't want the patient to get well, because as long as the disease holds out, they have not only an easy means of making a living, but also an easy medium through which to make themselves prominent before the public." That would be the grifters there, right? The grandiose narcissists. So why does this matter? Well, you got to be aware of who you're talking to. Right? So when you're trying to debunk or spread the word about critical race theory and social justice, who are you talking to? Are you talking to a sucker? Because if you're talking to a sucker, you just got to let them know that they're not racist. So it's pretty simple. Like alleviate them of their original sin of whiteness. Tell them not to be shamed by a bunch of narcissists, right? So you approach the sucker a different way. If you're talking to a narcissist, right? Well, get to the root of why they find social justice and critical race theory so appealing, right? Help them with their life, love them, right? Let them see that they can make different choices. They can improve their life on their own. It's not systems to blame. You can overcome this, right? It's an empowering message that we used to have in America, but we don't have anymore because the grifters are teaching victimhood. If you're talking to the grifters, tell them to, well, enjoy their money while it lasts because we're on to them. And this game can't last forever once we get more people to see what critical race theory is and what social justice is really all about.
Wow, that was deep and insightful. I want more of that.
Like, subscribe, get more.